Welcome back, guys, to the Tea Drop, where we show love to the indies, call it down the middle, and do it with no soft behavior, or at least we try to. Anyway, today we're talking House of Glory from the Ballroom, one of the most famous, famous indie venues in Chicago. About 250, 300 fans showed up, legit sellout, loud all night. Jason Solomon, who is also a wrestling content creator, you guys should check him out. And another um, announced commentator were commentating for their House of Glory show. I think it's called Return to the Windy City. They did, I believe, last year a Chicago show. It went well, so they're continuing that. So, and I gotta say, I watched some of House of Glory videos on on YouTube for free, and I've been to their shows here in New York. Amazing crowd, always sold out. The fans are wild. These are the fans that are wild, and in a good way. And they sold out here. I mean, it's 200. I know I'm saying small numbers, but basically the whole place was packed. And they have a good show in person production, and watching a full show for House of Glory, they have a really good decent production and replay value for a independent show. So shout out to them for making it look like a very good put together show with production value and all that. So pretty good on them. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first match that they have is Zilla Fatu versus a local wrestler, Joey Alonso, for Zilla Fatu's Crown Jewel title, which is one of House of Glory's mid card titles. Why they call it Crown Jewel, no clue. But Joe Alonso is a local independent wrestling talent, and if you don't know, now you will. He was a former opponent of WWE's Gunther back in 2022. He basically was a talent that SmackDown was at Chicago. They needed someone to squash, and Zoe Alonso was one of them. So here's a picture of him being at WWE. Um, anyway, he comes out salty and calls out himself the King of Chicago, complains about not being in the poster for this event, and so on and so forth. Typical heel stuff. And he does a pretty good job for a heel mic work. And he pretty much trying to get Zilla Fatu all angered up and basically calling him out. So obviously, Zilla Fatu eventually comes out. The crowd instantly turns on Joe, pretty much chanting, "You effed up. You effed up." Alonso and Fatu go into a promo and eventually end up with Alonso stating, "You're not the main one. You're just an inmate number." And that was crazy. That was a hard line. So if you don't know, Zilla Fatu has a pass um, that, based on that comment, we obviously know what his past is related to. But also he goes on in the indie scenes titling himself as the main one. So that was the whole point. If you're not the main one, you're just an inmate number. And it was pretty messed up and got him really pissed off. So it got very personal and disrespectful, cheap shots, and Zilla pretty much hit him before the bell. So the match was pretty good opener. Zilla pretty much threw Joe around early, big power spots, as Zilla Fatu should. Zoe tries to hit a super kick and a big dive to the outside of the ring with him. Zilla eventually fires back with a Samoan drop and a frog splash. Joe almost steals the match with a DDT move, but Zilla was able to recover and hits a leaping Samoan spike for the win. Zilla Fatu wins very quickly and retains the crown jewel. It was a good opener. Zilla, as always, in House of Glory, he's looking like a star. He's one of the biggest attractions for House of Glory. And Joey played a perfect annoying level heel. So it was a good way to wake up the crowd, make sure the crowd is ready for the rest of the night, because this was a 3 hour show. So you're gonna have a long night, and it's a usual timeline for House of Glory shows, especially the ones they broadcast. You can watch this on Thriller TV if you guys ever want to watch it. If you have a membership to Thriller TV, definitely check out House of Glory. You only need a membership. You don't pay anything extra, unlike AEW requiring you to have either you have HBO Max plus pay more fee, or have YouTube and pay more fee. This one's it's pretty good deal if you're a fan of the indies and you want to be able to watch stuff without having to go somewhere. So anyway, good match. The next match, and I'm sorry if I don't have a title card for it so you can see them up front, but this was a six-way scramble for the House of Glory's Cruiserweight title they currently have. And it was against Darren Richardson, the champ, who is the one in the red pants to the right of the screen, and versus Angel, Jaquez, Kevy Prime, Davey Bang, JJ Dose, and Gringo Loco. I don't know pretty much any of them except Darren Richardson. And I know Gringo Loco because I've seen him in a show that was done here in New York. Gringo Loco is basically the white guy in the bottom left side of the screen, the one in the red and blue with the beard that looks like mine. So, yeah. Anyway, this was basically an indie scramble. If you haven't seen one, it's basically fast, chaotic, and just fun. It's basically high spotting all the cruiserweight abilities of all these wrestlers. There was tons of dives from everywhere you can think of. Angel, one of the wrestlers, Angel, throwing JJ Dose off the stage in a gorilla press, and it was an insane power spot. Gringo Loco doing usually Gringo Loco things. If he's pretty much just a crazy, he pretty much act like an insane guy. So he does crazy spots. He does big flips. For a big guy, he's pretty crazy, and he always gets big crowd reactions from the HOG fans. Dose hits a huge 40-50 splash, but doesn't get the win. And Darren sneaks in and chokes out Dose and with a cross to retain. Yeah, but this Darren Richardson, which is the man in the picture, is the one that retains the championship title. It was a real fun scramble. Everybody got a moment to shine. So here's some of the spots of them throwing people outside the ring. Some people even going for dives. But yeah, Darren Richardson retains. He continues being the cruiserweight title. He is, although it wasn't. It was pretty. I didn't explain it very well, and I apologize. Darren Richardson is a heel. He's the heel of the match, and he's a heel through and through in House of Glory right now. So, anyway, it was a good match, but it wasn't the match of the night. We're not there yet. So, next up, for the Women's House of Glory Championship, we have the champ, Indy Hartwell, defending her title against Shotzi Blackheart, formerly aka Shotzi from WWE, now going by the moniker Shotzi Blackheart, going in the heel of the match, and Indy Hartwell being the big baby face. Very good match showing which stance is best for both of these women. Indy Hartwell is a very good babyface, and Shotzi is a very good heel. I wish WWE realized that and used them better, but it is what it is, and they're doing pretty well in the indie scene right now, and very happy that they're able to perform in ways that they want. So, Shotzi wrestled for MLW the night before, and she still came in hot in this match. This was a good brawl between them. They brawled before the bell, even, and all around the ringside and the crowd. But anyway, Shotzi came out in a very nice demeanor as a heel, and then obviously Indy came in, and that's pretty much it in terms of the entrance. I mean, the arena is so small that there isn't much of a. If you're used to WWE entrance type, this is not going to be it for you. So the indie scene is pretty much very quick. You didn't have the tank of Shotzi. It's not a thing, at least here, at least. I think there was a storyline with her and Matt Cardona, and I think Matt took her tank. I don't know what happened after that. So, anyway, so a few highlights. Shotzi hits a 619 around the ring post at the beginning of the match. A bunch of sentons from Shotzi keeping control. Indy comes with a spinebuster and big strikes. Um, Indy hits a superplex but misses and follows up with this elbow, which was amazing. Like, this girl knows how to go high. But eventually, Shotzi hits a top row senton splash for the pin and becomes the new House of Glory Women's Champion. It was a strong match, felt big time. It was a big moment for both of them. And Shotzi looked like a big star. I'm very happy that these two women were able to get a decent pop from a crowd, even though it's an indie crowd, and I know it's something different from them, but they gave them their all. So very happy for Shotzi. I think because I believe Indie is contracted with TNA now. She might be doing more TNA things going forward, but maybe she'll come back. We don't know. Well, they haven't developed most of the matches yet for the next show, which will be in December. We will see what is next for Shotzi. Very happy for her. So, congrats to Shotzi for winning the title. Next, Amazing Red versus Tyler Breeze. First time ever match. Huge respect from the crowd because it's Tyler Breeze. He shows up. They talked about his time at NXT, how he was one of the big pillars at the NXT Black and Gold era, and Amazing Red, obviously one of the founders of House of Glory, a big Boricua man himself, born in Puerto Rico, and pretty much a very heavy favorite in the House of Glory circles. The match started very technical, crowd chanting highly for both of these guys. Breeze works Red over and over on the outside, and Red hits the wildest dive while Breeze was outside at ringside, that he hits him, but then he goes over him and lands in the crowd, and the crowd going wild for him still. And then he gets up, puts his fist up, getting the crowd even more riled up, and just getting the match even more and more excited. Breeze ends up doing a sick move on Red, and then eventually hits Breeze. Breeze hits a supermodel kick, but that still wasn't enough to put him away. Eventually, Red was able to recover. He hits a twisting flatliner off the ropes and follows it up with a frog splash immediately. Like, this guy knows how to get up the ropes very quickly. Like, he went from one side of the ring, he did the twisting flatliner off the ropes, and then he comes to the other side to do a frog splash. One thing to know that you can see clearly on this picture, Mr. Darren Richardson, the House of Glory Cruiserweight Champion, shows up sometime middle of the match just to be there. But obviously, the commentator is good for those that don't follow House of Glory well to explain that Darren Richardson has been very involved in Amazing Red's matches, interfering, messing with him, and all that. And it looked like something similar is about to happen. So after the pin and win from Amazing Red, quickly as the bell rung, Darren Richardson attacks Red and tries to get Breeze to join in, but he wouldn't do it. He continues attacking him and attacking Red, and asks again Breeze to help him out, because Breeze's been a heel before in NXT. But Breeze bails. He says no. He leaves, and without Darren paying attention, Amazing Red was able to get back up, fight back, and stand tall at the end of the match. So, a very solid veteran showcase between two good talents, between Tyler Breeze and Amazing Red. And a little angle between Amazing Red and Darren Richardson to advance a potential storyline that will probably take up into the next couple weeks. Maybe by the December show, they'll have something going on. Maybe it'll be for the Cruiserweight title. I don't know. We will have to wait to find out. Nets and one of the middle of the card matches, and when things start really heating up, is Mustafa Ali versus Marcus Mathers, a local talent in Chicago. So Marcus Mather is currently an evolved prospect in the WWE. He's doing some matches, and it's a Chicago favorite. But so is Ali. So Ali comes out with three of his students that he has a wrestling school with. So he has a wrestling school, and he brought with him three of his students to watch him wrestle, which is great, getting exposure out there. And the crowd goes wild for Mustafa. They love him there. They love him in Chicago. Who doesn't love Mustafa Ali? He's one of the greatest, and a sad story that he got let go by WWE, but he didn't let it get to him. Between balancing with his family and doing wrestling, he's making it work for himself, and he's become a big independent talent. So far, he's getting decent exposure. Is it hopefully eventually to the Matt Cardona level? But we will see. So early start of the match, very clean and simple. Technical early start for both of them, showing that both of them can go. Obviously, Mustafa can go, but this is more of a match to highlight Marcus Mathers. And they were both showing their technical prowess between the two. Mathers ends up leaning more heelish halfway through the match. They both started in the same level, both respecting each other, but eventually, as Ali gets a little more momentum than Mathers, he becomes a little heelish and start doing heelish things. Very nice transition, very good thing. Nothing to complain about, but he starts leaning heel, using cheap tactics, and start doing big strikes. This was a beautiful move by Ali, by the way. I couldn't. It was just like they were going so fast that it was hard to screenshot some of their moves. So I apologize if it's blurry, but Ali hits combo, rolling stunner, moonsault, and suplexes, but eventually Mathers locks him in this nasty submission, but somehow Ali survives, being the veteran he is at this point. One of the craziest moments is when Ali hits a pile driver on the apron. They exposed the apron. They took the apron off, and you see the damn sub level of the ring, which is basically the plywood. And they do a pile driver off the apron. And they go for a count, but Mathers was able to put his leg on the rope to make sure that he doesn't lose the match. So it was a very close count. Eventually, Mathers nearly tries to steal the match by doing this pedigree, which beautiful amount of air in that. Look how high they go. But eventually, even though Mathers did a very nice pedigree and almost steals the match, but Ali kicks out, he counters the next move he does, that eventually ends up with Ali going on the top rope and doing his finishing maneuver and lands a 450 splash for the win. So you get Mustafa Ali winning, but an excellent showcase of Marcus Mathers, and hopefully WWE and Evolve sees this match and eventually sees him as a potential prospect to move up to the NXT brand, because he did a good match. It was very good. He didn't do much mic work. There wasn't much mic work to begin with in this match. It was pure showcase. So whether I don't know what his his mic skills are, but obviously it's something he can develop in WWE. But he was very good. He was very good. After the match, Mustafa picks up the mic and states, does a brief talking, but one of the most important statements he does is says, "We're here in House of Glory. We're here in Chicago, and this is where professional," and he pauses, "professional wrestling lives." Pretty much stating how House of Glory and other indie promotions are one of the few groups that are still doing pure professional wrestling in this country or in general. So then he pretty much puts over Mathers for his great match with him, and even the students that were there on Total Pro, and pretty much putting all these students over. This was by far the best match of the show. It was very fast paced. It was very technical. It had everything. It was great. I would it I don't know what else to say, but definitely watch highlights. I know they like promoting some of the outside wrestlers on their YouTube, so hopefully this becomes one of the matches they put up on the YouTube page of theirs. Second to last match was a tag team match between House of Glory's main event versus the Rascal. Dez and Wentz, and Midas Black and Jay Leon's from the main event. Sorry, my throat's. The match was very fast paced, tag team wrestling with both teams showing off their chemistry. Not much to say except that, but some of the highlights include Rascals hitting Chris double team offense early in the match. The main event firing back with power spots and combo submissions, and all four guys down at one point. Crowd chanting, this is tag team wrestling. The crowd loved this. The main event is a great tag team match. They're a fun tag team match to the level that you can think of, I don't know, the New Day when they were New Day-ish, not the New Day that you know now, but they're a very fun group, and they're very good in the ring. So, they were good in the end, but in the end, the Rascals rally and hit a super kick and a double stomp combo, which, by the way, looked freaking nasty as hell. It was so good. But Dez gets the pin, and the Rascals win the match. So congrats to them. The main event will survive. They are so over in House of Glory that they are always in big tag team events, but this is going to build the Rascals up, and they will probably potentially get a tag team championship match in the future against the current champs, which are the Hardy Boys, who won it, I believe, in the last show that they had back in October. So, fun match, good energy. The finish came a bit suddenly, but it worked for this match. It was great. It was a great palate cleanser match for the main event, which was next. The main event, the sickest bastard in House of Glory, Charles Mason versus a familiar face, Cedric Alexander, for the House of Glory World title. If you don't know, the previous Ring of Honor World Champion was Mike Santana, and he had it for a good couple months. He won it from this man, but Charles Mason, at the last Mike Santana Puerto Rican show for House of Glory, he took the belt back and is now the current champ. Charles Mason's walk out in his typical attire, a suit, full villain mode, crowd absolutely hating him. As always, Cedric feels like a big time challenger. If you don't know, hi Ray, you see, welcome in. Charles Mason is pretty much, I would like to describe him as a American Psycho. If you've seen the movie American Psycho, Christian Bale kind of persona. He comes in a suit. he's a sick bastard through and through. It's basically the sick side of the Bateman character that is in American Psycho, but in wrestling form. And he starts all his matches most of the time in a suit. He has shirt, tie, and his undervest, not a suit jacket, but the vest underneath, and pants. He is doing what Corporate Kane did, but 20 times better. He's wrestling in a freaking suit. And as the match goes, yeah, he's losing articles of clothing, but still, the fact that you start the match like that is insane. Crazy. Anyway, see? Full suit. What the hell? Anyway, Cedric starts out with kicks, line salts, and a dive tease. Mason blinds him with spray, like he spits water at him or something, and takes control of the match. Mason ties Cedric to the post, which questionable. He ties him to the post and chops the life out of him. His chops are ridiculous. Charles Mason's chops are ridiculous and nasty. That I can say. Cedric eventually fights back. German suplexes, Machoni drives, chops, and a powerbomb. But Mason eventually hits a Meteora in DVD for a near fall. Cedric locks in for a crossface, but can't finish it. Eventually, because the ref... I didn't... Oh, there's the image. The ref gets moved out of the way, or they lose sight of what they're doing, and he eventually... Charles Mason does a low blow. And then does a Gotch-style tombstone, which is a very interesting hold for a tombstone, and steals the win. So he low blows him, typical heel fashion. The crowd is freaking pissed as hell, booing the crap out of him. But exactly the reaction House of Glory expects from this level heel. He is the slimiest of slimiest heels, as they would say. He's a good heel. And he will go to the extremes. Like, this match was very low tier for him. Not that he said it. I'm saying, like, he's gone harder. Like, in a house show that I went to with my wife, like, the match that he did with Mike Santana when he won the title that one time, about a year or so ago, it was nasty. It got bloody. It got disgusting. It got full ECW in there. My wife ended up closing her eyes and left the arena because it got too sick for her. It was a lot. So this guy can go. So that was the end of the show. This was a really strong show and a great snapshot of what House of Glory does. I would say the match of the night was Mustafa Ali versus Marcus Mathers. I apologize. Mustafa Ali is always showing up and doing good for indie promotions. He's really good. I would say also Amazing Red and Tyler Breeze were good matches, and the Cruiserweight Scramble is a great example of a lot of athletic ability between all the the leaner wrestlers. So it was a good showcase of different wrestlers in House of Glory, including the big ones that show up. The main event was solid, and it did a good storytelling. The Shotzi and Indy Hartwell match was great. A lot of passionate storytelling. That story was being told since July, and it finally ended here. I don't know what, like I said, I don't know what happens next for Indy. She's probably going to go to another promotion. She's going to go to TNA, while Shotzi takes the reins here at House of Glory. Production, the commentary was solid, and the replays, they did the little picture-to-picture replay, which I thought was cool. They need to fix the audio when they do that. They should, like, when WWE and AEW do it, they lower the volume for the replay to allow the stuff that's currently happening still be the louder volume, or they just mute it. House of Glory didn't do that. It was quite the opposite, so I couldn't hear what was going on currently in the match, and the replay was replaying loudly, so when the commentary were both talking from both videos at the same time, you couldn't understand which was what. So it was kind of weird. So I don't think anyone's watching from House of Glory, but definitely something they should fix, hopefully, for the next one. That was the, I don't know if they do it often, but it was pretty good. Um, House of Glory is one of my favorite indies right now, obviously, because they mix some storytelling, strong in ring work, and just enough star power to make every card feel special. And because of that, their shows tend to always sell out. They have like 4 rows in the New York City arena, and then they have some back areas, and then they have standing area only in their arena. Those first 4 rows get sold out within the first 2 weeks when they announce their shows. House of Glory is a good ticket. If you're ever in New York City and you come in a week that they're doing a House of Glory shows, I would definitely recommend you check it out. Even if it means that you're doing a standing only section, still worth it. Good group, good crowd. Um, I'm gonna obviously be biased because of the fact that it's in New York, so I'm always gonna cheer for the home team, and especially since it's the only, I believe it's the only indie school in New York City area. There are others indie schools in the New York area. There's some in Long Island. There's some in Jersey, even in Westchester area. But this is the one closest to me, and it's one of the greatest. And obviously, it is founded by Boricua's own Amazing Red, who is, if you guys don't know Amazing Red, who did the was in the match with Tyler Breeze, he is Selena Vega's cousin. So very good thing. Um, I love it. So let me know in the comments if you watched House of Glory. What do you, and if you did, what you thought the match of the night was. Hit the like to support my video. Don't forget to support indie shows. Subscribe for more breakdowns. And this has been the Tea Drop, where we hype the deserving type, roast what deserves roasting, and do it with no soft behavior. Until next one.